Yes, just to finish the previous question about open data and accessibility. The regulation in Taiwan that defines open data defines it in the international open definition, meaning that it must be able to be processed by 2 or more free software tools for it to be open format. And the license that we choose is the Creative Commons attribution license, which is a very permissive license that says the data can be used for anything. Really, as long as you accredit its source URL, which is not a very strict requirement. So, and because of this permissive license, I think in Taiwan we have those people who want the commercial use of open data and the social use of open data. Had we chose a different Creative Commons license like non-commercial or even share-alike, then the dynamic would be very different. But because we chose this very permissive license, it is now both a flourishing data economy and a flourishing data social application, and both are growing very fast in Taiwan. So I think these two, private sector and the civil society use of data, also keeps each other honest in a way. Because in a sense that if we only do this civil society use, then the data that are only useful commercially don't get as many eyes watching it and demanding it becoming more accessible. We really do need entrepreneurs who want to make a profit out of data, who invest in technology that converts those formats into something more friendly and more accessible. But on the other hand, if we only do this part, then it seems that the weak, the people who were not empowered, people who need the data the most, couldn't really rely on the civil society organizations to provide a much-linked technical contribution to them. So I think both arms are important, and I feel, at least up until this moment, that we chose a correct path to balance these two kind of use of data.
So my question would be, bringing the focus a little bit back to this place here, this fantastic place. What's your impression about the 2 weeks? But I'm asking this because what would be, in your opinion, other or more intensive tools like that? Because we were mentioning earlier before, like the importance of open source, open data, of international exchange. What could be like social formats we can develop to enhance such processes that they are so fruitful?
Yes. I'm very impressed, although the first week I'm only a robot. I'm here in the flesh only for this week. But even as a robot, thanks to 360 camera, I still bring back to my memory, my feelings when I was first here. Because this year I've been here 3 times. The first time during Democratic Cities, that was in May, and it was very intensive. The schedule was packed. I literally walked into the building to a bunch of occupiers from New Zealand Occupy, Tunisia Occupy, Nudibu, and Indignado, and all the movements, and just on the staircase. And then they just told me to sit, and I share everything I remember from the Sunflower Movement, and learned everything from the other occupiers. And in the middle of the conversation, Pablo Soto arrives, and we delve into like very detailed communication of techno-politics, which is great. But it only took maybe 3 hours, 4 hours to go through everything that we have. But I think it was great that the Lumio's people, including Richard Perlet, did a full transcript style write-up on the entire conversations and title it, I think, posted on Medium under Creative Commons 0, no rights reserved, because he likes my style, I guess, saying that this is the occupiers compare notes. And then so that it's not until I go back to Taiwan and read through the transcript that we've been talking about, do I actually see the kind of international exchanges you mentioned. It's actually that's happening without any of us planning it. And because of the conversation was also 360 recorded, like the current conversation, I can always put on my goggles and go back to the same nonverbal feeling and of that electrifying moment. So I think that builds a lot of emotional connection between me and the Media Lab, and in particular the color yellow that was used in the staircase. And it was a very futuristic paint. And then the next time I came, I built a robot with the robotic team. And then I think by the third time, I feel much more relaxed. I feel like this is part of the community, part of the tribe. And this is the community space that is really where we can feel safe and trust completely strangers who look and comes from and speaks in no ways identical to people that I'm used with to live with, but nevertheless with the same values that we share. And so I think this really is magical. We can't do this just by writing code online. We can't do this just by sending 360 videos to one another. It needs to be music and food and everything that we shared during those 2 weeks. But I think the good thing that the technology does is that it makes it fades slower than before, or much slower than before. This kind of connectivity feeling that I felt when I first visited did not actually fade after I come back to Taiwan. It actually amplifies every time that I go back to the transcript and to the recording and think about the ramifications. So what I'm trying to say is that maybe those projects are an excuse for us to come together, but what will unfold is when everybody goes back to our own homes and go back to see the recordings, the transcripts, the proceedings, the code, the commit logs, whatever, Telegram logs that happened during these 2 weeks. I think that's when our capacity as collaborators will grow, and then also the capacity for us to connect in the future will deepen.
Cool. Thanks.
Let's take a picture together.
Yes, let's take it.
Nasi could take it. Nasi, you're busy. Could you take a picture of us?
Of course. I can also take a picture of us.
Of course.
Just stand up. It's easy.
Let's go.
It's not hard.
How uniform.
Yeah.
Only phone.